Hello. Hello. How are we all doing? Oh, that's a little bit of feedback. Yeah, can we shift this back a tiny bit? Yeah, we can. Oh, man. Hello, this is such a, perfect little window of people. It's a very, everyone who's performing, you're going to find this, that it's like you're staring into a TV box of audience. It's a very strange mirror experience that's going on right now. But, that all said, I have a whole phone thing to go through, so we're going to do it. But, welcome everyone to Jade Lantern's night of lo-fi and spoken words at the Macclesfield's 1261 Festival, here in Macclesfield, UK. It's such a pleasure to be going through tonight with all of you. I want to go through a few quick things to begin. I also have forgotten already, it says at the top of the thing, start your timer, and I just didn't do that. So we're going to do that now. Yes. I am John Clifford. I am... Hi. All my friends are in the audience. And yes, I will be doing a bit of performance, but also kind of leading you through the evening, being the compere, and just kind of introducing all the wonderful people that we're going to have performing. I also had a coffee just before this, so I'm going to slow down my voice manually, because otherwise I will speak at incredible speeds. So yes, a few things to begin. If anyone wants chips, they're coming up the stairs. Give me a little cheer first of all. How many of you have been to a spoken word night before? Amazing. How many, are there anyone who hasn't been to a spoken word night before? Oh my God. Fantastic. Amazing. Well, there's a general regular flow to a spoken word night where you'll tend to have a little bit of an open mic and then some headliners. We're doing it slightly differently for this evening in that this is kind of just an evening of headliners and headline slots. And so where normally you'd expect maybe one half of short performances and then kind of a break and then a lot of headline performances going on, we're going to do kind of 20 minutes, half an hour with each performer sharing their incredible art with you, then probably about a half-hour break where you can go down and kind of get watered and smoke and do whatever you want to do, and then come back up for more, all fairly loose and casual, and yeah, we'll have a lovely, lovely evening of it. That's all of that paragraph, I think. Yeah. Oh yes, if there's a fire, the stairs are there, run. And we also have a room full of talent for you this evening, which, if you want to support, we have a table of merch that will have more merch on it. Currently only has my books, so I look like I'm an egotistical maniac, but there is, people have various bits and pieces that they're selling. I know that TJ will have some stuff, I imagine, for people. And so if you're, loving what's happening on stage, please come and support us so that we can have money for the bar as well, because that's important. So, as we go through the night, I'll give introductions to the artists as they come through. I'm going to do all of them at once, just at the top, just so you know the level of quality that you've got going through the night. We've got a bit of a long evening, but it's one of absolute quality. I am John, as I said. We also have an absolute highlight of the Home Open Night exhibition, BBC Radio and spoken word events around Manchester. Hyper-talented artist, punk singer and poet. Later on, we'll be having Cookie Love. Winner of the Derby Poetry Festival Prize and former co-runner of the esteemed award-winning Poetry Night Verbose, we'll have Amy King. A true Leeds legend, rapper, songwriter, podcaster, label owner, and frontman of Legends with No Name, we will have TJ Tucker at the front line. A slam poet extraordinaire, a one mic stand winner who's also placed second in the entire country in this year's Mind Over Slammer competition. We will have Biz at the back there. And finally, a writer of poetry for film and television. His work is taught in schools around the country. Last year he released his debut album, Working Class Love Poem, which is currently touring around the country. So to end off the night, at the very, very end, we will have Oliver J. Lomax finishing off the evening, who I'm very excited to see. And before all of that, you have me to deal with. I'm John. I talk a lot, and I wander the streets looking for poetry nights to compare, and so I'm very happy this evening. My work is currently on display in Affleck's Palace in Northern Quarter in Manchester. It's appeared in pamphlets and zines at the Cheltenham and New York poetry festivals, and it's been published in a book called Tell Us What We Are, which is there. You can have one if you want, which, yeah, you will find for sale. I love, genuinely, to put that way, I love these sorts of events. I love gathering in spaces and getting to just see people share beautiful pieces of themselves. We have so much talent here tonight, so I'm so excited for it. And yeah, just Ian, thank you for having me. Thank you for setting this up. This is going to be, I think, a very beautiful night. Fabulous. How far into my timer am I? 4 minutes. Wow, I do chat a lot. I am going to kick us off for the night. I'm going to start, because I've had the pleasure of being able to kind of invite some people to come along and perform and share at this. I want to start with a little bit of a poem that's just kind of a welcoming poem to the artists in the room, to the people who are performers. So I'll start with that and then we'll get into the flow of it. But I worship all of you. Not in a creepy way, I swear. I am here reverential, bestowed with the presence of those who can conjure wonder from the syncopated spaces twixt the drum beats of their hearts. It is miraculous what we do together. In the back rooms of bars and the gardens of loved ones' house parties, I have been starstruck. Eyes open to the ardent expression of the people who pull these heavenly pieces. Ambrosial emotions weighed on the scales. It can be love. It can be grief. It can be your feelings about your morning commute, honestly, or the ways the taste of Cadbury's has changed, because I hear they use shit ingredients now. Just do not feel out of place, please. You are tonight celebrities to me, and we will make a space in the orchestra for each other's offerings, because you are about to do something that is worth adoration. It is elevated by the stanzas that it glows through and is altered on. And I bow my head before it. I was changed when I first saw it. I am getting excited. I apologise. I can get a bit long-winded and often proselytise about these sorts of things. My soul will ever sing its harmonies on the purpose-filled bar lines the ink brings into any empty space. It is your grace that I am here to hear. It is your indigo inks with which I will depart, tattooed indelible in private places in my heart. It beats in there like a green room. After the gig's encore, atriums and archery walls signed by every artist I have adored. Over here, there's Heaney, and he's digging with his quill. Ramina's distilling silvery sardine identities. Emily's getting euphonic about their love. And T, too, T's in here graffitiing all my bar stools and telling me to fuck poets. April boogies and pirouettes through her hard times and tears. And Rifat Al-Aria's kite flies in here, and I am lucky. God, I am so lucky. There is space made in this grubby heart for angels, and they necessitate a different kind of poem, I suppose, but what I'm trying to get at, though, is that I worship all of you. Not in a fleeting way, I swear it. Life would be grey without it, but you colour me in. The intermingled mix of all your inks and pigments. They course through my veins, break my stony banks, create chromatic floodplains in me. All of which is just to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see. I have a terrible habit when I'm performing of slowly retreating back across the stage, and I promise it's not a fear thing, it's just a reverb thing. So I'm going to put that there, and I'm going to remember what I was going to perform next. I was saying before to some of my mates, it was my mate's birthday today, and we went to Chester Zoo, which was beautiful, and I think I kind of internalised that subconsciously, which is why I'm dressed like a safari person, but it's good. I also I put on my on my Instagram story earlier being please everyone pray that I don't stain these trousers at all, and then I immediately stained my vest instead with coffee, so that's how the day is going. Oh man, a bit emotional. Right, the next one I'm going to do is a little bit of a new one. I don't know how to introduce it yet, it's that new, so I'm just going to do it. But often I think you'll find that with poets, we'll take either something that seems like a very dark and serious subject and then add loads of levity into it, or we'll take something that seems very innocent and make it very sad. This poem is about baby turtles. Baby turtles, newly hatched, will speed toward bright human lights, understanding that like the shining moon, these lamps mean safety. And who are we to judge or spurn them when it's only their first turn at this? There are people playing on the beach while babies wash up on our shores. I don't know how our souls can take that tarnish anymore. I don't know if I can believe in reincarnation, because I'm sure that I'm doing this for the very first time. Divine nor rhyme nor reason, yet I scan each passing season with a bloodshot eye, and somewhere between survival and the mad nights out, I raise my pen tip high. I set my senses searching for deeper meaning in the dark. Some thrumming, taut, tensile strum of release. Radar dishes spinning, pinning the words I seek like sound producers, finding beats like baby turtles finding briny waters, welcome whispers, baby. This shit's tough. Baby is a word that I will often gift to strangers who will then turn heel and hurt me. Because first there'll be some bellicose bigots who can detect the disrespect in my playfulness, and angered by the scars those irreverent syllables can score, they turn toward. Fists out, shouts, punches, flung, my heart outpouring into gutters. Then, seconds, there come the lovers who turn to leave. They strum my heartstrings, briefly, clashing minor keys that last a moment on the air and forever on my horizons. What, you think you get this D and easy, man, meet me outside. Because there are clouds gathering and these storm drains have tasted altogether too much of my blood. I think in dreams my eldest sister still beckons the me that carries the child's rucksack baggage of scraped knees and strings of snot to her with loving calls of baby. Baby turtles are smart, you see. Leatherback siblings who first slalom past the seagull's beach sand sharpened beaks have been observed as adults together, basking in the Hebrides. And I can only think these lonely wanderers love each other all the more desperate, understanding just how unlikely that is. Because it's the core vein of awe that started all of this. Before the mining and the forging and the spreading of life's tarnishes, we are all held together by heavy knit strong threads. The trick of living is finding umbilical cords amongst the spider's webs, and baby, that shit's tough, because I don't know how many goes we get. I just want those who never made it to get another turn. Because what is life to spurn our innocence? Are we not worthy of some deliverance? Must we exist listless, trying to figure out the meaning, weaving hard knocks and loss into sharp spines and metal, armor wrung with the toll, empty turtle shell echoes? Do you know how many baby turtles never find the ocean? Bodies broken, open, silent, tiny catacombs in life's wake. And they're only guilty of the self-same mistake we all must make. We are all doing this for the very first time. Thank you very much. Thank you, how are we doing? We're doing all right. I hope everyone's enjoying this so far. So yes, following on from me, I'll do a couple more poems. Following on from me, we'll be having Cookie come perform after a break where everyone can go and get a drink and have some chats and maybe buy my book. But next I am going to do... Am I going to do that poem? Yes, I am. I am Irish. I know I sound as Irish as Basil Brush, but I am Irish. This is a poem about home, about experiences of home, especially from afar, and kind of being raised and like taught all about the place that you're from and taught your culture without necessarily always having certain experiences of it. And it's called Looking Back from Afar. Because I always knew that my view of Ireland was a little misty-eyed. I grew up down in London, so the pride I took in my history was born mainly from school holidays. Summer would arrive, and so would we, less than fresh, so ferried on the overnight from Swansea. And my dad would tell me and my sisters stories of Finn McCool and Coo Cullen, and in between the rest stops and the sullen waiting and praying for the rain to end, we'd look out the window of the family car as it snaked round High Hedge bends and wonder if somewhere out there between those hills the myths were still alive. That came first. What followed in later years was family history. You know, I think that every Irish family holds within its annals some well-remembered tragedy. It comes through in the art, and in the songs, and if so pressed by a lack born of oppression, the noble response has always been to doggedly pursue the best future that we could. And I think it was in that spirit years ago my parents moved from Limerick and Kerry up to UCD and then down to London. Gave their children shelter, health, and all that we could ask for, as well as accents that don't quite match our passports. And I spend surprising time in worry now that though I'm ever proud of that Hale heritage, there is a disconnect. Because see, I'll call those visits going home, with a confidence that seems correct, but arrive there far from certain, because home is never known solely as some poetic paradise in your head. No, home is a place of boring chores and a catalogue of rainy afternoons, of arguments and teary-eyed familial hilarity, a place to be recalled all through experience and held in perfect clarity. So, I don't know. I don't know entirely who I am apart from that I'm me. If I've overblown these feelings that better be dismissed or truly rolled a little ways too far from my own family tree, because see, Mum will pull out albums and we'll shuffle through the sheafs. She'll enumerate and ruminate on close collected collages of relatives, illuminating each in warm relief, regaling me with tales of who they loved and knew, and with that ever-present melancholy telling how some fell like leaves from branches when unwelcome gusts and gales blew. That was the man who was engaged to your great-grandma. Except that soldiers came one night and dragged him out the bed, then pulled him further down a country road to leave him dead. And there she is herself, when she wouldn't give them lessons, they came and smashed up her piano. And there's your great-granduncle who stood fast at GPO. And then your granddad who, as a boy, would flee bent-backed from black and tans, who shot out cottage windows from atop their vans while on patrol. And there's your handsome dad, from when the airport lads took us to question. Irish, and from London, so you say, well, we'll let you leave if you can list the tube stops that go north between Baker Street and Willesden Green. And if you can't, you'll stay. Rich running seams of hurt beset our histories like rot. And I'm proud and lucky that my family's response has been to lift their children higher than themselves with a grim and steadfast generational determination. And I've had a privileged start compared to so many others, and I shouldn't waste those wonders I've been given. Yet when I look back, I wonder whether I should go place myself amongst my forebear kith and kin, the ones that did so sit and sing on rust bucket boats that bore them back to Dublin from the Welsh internment camps. Oro she the Bachtawalia. Anish ar hocht and Tauri, oh, row, welcome home now that summer's coming. Because I could sing those self-same words 1,000 times and never find the full measure of their meaning. But I suppose that I can only carry on and till the verdant plot that those who came before have left for me, and hopefully in their memory, that will be enough. Thank you. I realised I skipped over a tiny bit that I was going to explain at the beginning, but considering only like one person has never been to a poetry gig before, it might be superfluous, but I will say there's like poetry gigs, if you want to click midway through things, that can be very, very nice. People do enjoy it sometimes. If you also find clicking like odd or don't feel quite right doing it, that's also fine. Just make lots of noise and clap at the end, and then I think everyone will be happy. I'm going to do like one more. So for that, we're going to do... I'll do two more actually because they're short. There's bits and pieces that I've been able to do in the last year that have been really, really wonderful. I'm really happy that I've been able to contribute to them. There is an organisation based in Manchester called Manchester for Palestine that worked to put out a kind of set of leaflets and a kind of a like small zine, basically, the proceeds of which all went to supporting those who are suffering the current genocide. I would like to perform the poem that I submitted and had published to that, followed by one more, and then we will all take a break when I leave you on that down note and can all go to the bar and drown our sorrows. This first piece is called Dabka. It's the piece that I submitted to that magazine. A Dabka is a type of Levantine dance, of which there are several Palestinian variants that are very, very beautiful. And I was really struck when I wrote this piece about how it was in the kind of initial couple of months of the genocide, and they were... it just kind of struck me that amongst it all, in all of the like pictures of like horror and violence and just terror that were part of the entire thing, there were people who would take kids out of the camps in the mornings and dance with them to keep some joy in their hearts. So I wrote a poem about that. I've watched the play of your shadow on the wall. Tracing texture in the dusty stone, you are made within the confines of this room. I am here to love what is captured, to hope the shaded wonder can remain cast everlasting. Colonizers will divide and granularize. Chaff, beholden to its own winnowing, make it small enough, they think, for screams to fade to passing breeze, resistance to a whisper. They are wrong. Now rubble crunches underfoot. We will not let them deny the joyous dance, even as noise builds and you spin closer to the lamps lit bright and sweeping, and they may break the bricks that brace your silhouette to bits. If so, we will leave them unseen beneath our figures, framed in light, standing grand and colossal, projected over river, lake, and land, rising from the vast expanding sea. All will know your spirits, ever anchored here, free, beloved, and dancing. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'll do one more for you. Thank you for being so lovely and kind and smiling at me while I stand here looking at you in the little window. It's been really, really lovely. We've got an incredible night coming up ahead. So I'll do one more piece and then leave you for a half-hour break, probably, I think. This piece, as he leans over, is from my book. It's called Tell Us What We Are. I got it published last year, which was wild. I still don't really believe it, but I'm very, very happy I have it and just proud that it's out in the world. So I'm going to perform kind of another piece on that theme once I open the book. This piece, as you can probably imagine for what that last poem was, I have mixed feelings about Remembrance Sunday, you could probably say. There's, from that, and I suppose from the one about family history before, there is kind of a lot of like back and forth on the merits or dismerits of that kind of holiday, what it was, what it is now become. Day of Remembrance, I probably shouldn't call it a holiday. But thinking about the kind of like violence that was committed against my grandparents and parents, great-grandparents. I mean, a lot of it at the time of the Easter Rising in Ireland was being done by Black and Tans who were suffering post-traumatic stress disorder from the Western Front. So it's a very kind of like mixed and nuanced thing, as well as being deeply emotional. And like I said, I have conflicting and mixed feelings about Remembrance Sunday, and this poem is about that. Remembrance. Come kneel and wash your red coats in the fields where they have gathered. Watch men who smell of oil, burning, and some older staleness dip their heavy moustached heads in puddles of a long spilled gore, to re-emerge with carmine blossoms clasped between their teeth. And they turn towards you through the dark, and to a heartbeat drumming whisper, come join your brothers, join your sisters, join us all. Think of what a garden we could grow. Do not give yourself unto their taut and pearly smiles. Stare instead down at their hands, still slick and warm and dripping, and be sure not to trust them. For in times yet to follow, red will still run and fill those furrowed puddles fresh. And you will look then to those men, each gaunt and calloused as carrion crows, and staring at the carnage set to follow, you will know why storms which level cities are rewarded with a human name. So pin that wound above your heart. And remember for a moment, but wonder not what words your monarchs whisper to the cenotaphs, because theirs is an over-practiced prayer. It wears the stone when spoke aloud. This harvest of another year we offer here with wreath and shroud, but you will not have long to wait, for we will be reaping soon again. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much for listening. Very, very lovely to get to open up the night. We are going to have the inimitable Cookie Love performing after a break, but I think we are going to probably take like a 25-minute break. So 5:30, if everyone wants to come back, get yourself like smoked and watered and everything else that you want to do. And thank you very much.